Once again, it's time to talk about things from a man's perspective. And today we're talking about when should you go back to your ex? Because sometimes you want that old thing back. Let's talk about it on Optimal Expression. Hello and welcome to Optimal Expression, where we embrace our greatest potential to manifest our wildest dreams. Good people, last week we talked about when should you break it off? When should you leave your relationship? Now, all of you who've been through a breakup know sometimes it's hard to leave. Sometimes you love them too much. Sometimes they do change. Sometimes you change. In this case, is it okay? Or when is it okay? Is it ever okay to go back to your ex? Well, there's a number of variables that we need to consider with this type of situation. However, the most important question to ask is what has changed? Now, if nothing has changed in you or in them or in y'all situation at all, and you just go back to that person because you can't stand to be away from them, it'll feel good for like 2, 3 days. Then it's going to be back to the same old misery and a lack of peace, which is the main reason you should leave anybody. But that alone, okay? The most important thing, what has changed? Sometimes the only thing that kept you from your person is maybe it was distance. Maybe you got a new opportunity that lets you go to their city. Maybe somebody decided to convert. If you were a Christian, maybe you'll be a Muslim or vice versa. These type of situations where it was just like semantics. Those are usually pretty easy to resolve if that was the only problem. Okay? However, in most cases, you have to look at this from two different perspectives. There is the person that did wrong, and then there was the person who was done wrong. And when you're considering going back to your ex, those considerations on both sides are a little different. So let's look at it a little deeper here. If you were the person who was done wrong, I'm going to tell you this right now. Never, ever go back to an ex that did you wrong and they haven't reached out to you first. Yeah, I know it sucks. I know you miss them. I know you wish they would just do right. But some people just can't get right. Okay? And sometimes we just need to face the music. Sometimes they just can't get right, no matter how much you love them. Okay? So, if that person has done you wrong, if they lied, cheated, stole, beat you down, took all your peace away from you, don't go back to that person if they haven't reached out to you first. Don't reach out to them to see how they doing. Don't follow their social media. Matter of fact, the first thing you need to do, and I probably should have put this in the last video, when you break up with somebody, the first thing you need to do is block them. Okay? Because you need to establish that clean cut, that it's over. The sever must be real. Otherwise, you will be tempted to fall back into old habits that may not be good for you. Okay? But in this case, don't reach out to the person first. And the main reason why you shouldn't reach out to that person is because they just might take you back. However, the bigger problem is they'll take you back and they haven't changed. Something's got to be different if you go back to your ex, if it's going to last and if you're going to be happy, because you broke up for a reason. Okay? So something needs to be different. And if they have not reached out to you, it could be for a number of reasons. We could only speculate. It might be because they just figured, well, it's over now. They can do all the dirt that they wanted to do before with a clear conscience. Maybe they realized after the breakup, they probably don't need to be in a relationship. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. Don't bother yourself with why. You just need to be concerned with healing. You need to be concerned with moving on. Don't try to understand them as much, okay? Because we'll never know why a person did what they did or didn't do what they should have done, okay? But what you need to try to focus on is, what do I need to do so that I can move on, so that I can have peace, and so that I can leave this in the past and prepare yourself for a real connection with someone who can love you properly. Okay? So, no, 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 no. If a person did you wrong, don't reach out to them. They haven't changed. And if you take them back, I guarantee they'll do it again. Now, in a situation where a person has reached out to you after they did you wrong, how much time passed? Have you taken them back before? These are two factors you need to consider. If you've taken them back before and they've done wrong again after you've taken them back, they have established a track record that you should take quite seriously. Some people, let's just be honest, are not capable of loving another person. Okay? Doesn't mean necessarily that they're a bad person. Evil is backwards. Like if you look at the word evil, that's just the word live backwards. Some people just live backwards. And if you attach yourself to them, you'll be living backwards as well. Okay. So if they have come back, if they have reached out to you and they have asked for another chance, the first thing you need to know is, have they changed? What's different about them? What's different about the situation? How will it be different this time? Now, they can tell you anything under the sun. The best advice I can tell you is, don't jump right back in. Take it slow. Counseling at this time is probably a good idea if you have not already done counseling before the breakup. Okay. If that person is in counseling right now, that might be reason to take them seriously. At least they are taking action toward being different. We are looking for a difference, a change in their habits. Maybe they was a person that drank and smoked too much and you couldn't deal with it. You had to let them go. Maybe they're in AA now. Maybe they ain't smoking no more, right? Something like that. They need a certificate. They need to show you something different, okay? And if there's nothing that they can show you tangibly, I would be very skeptical, okay? Because a person can tell you anything under the sun, but it's their action that's going to let us know if they're different or not. Which is why I say, if you are considering going back to them, don't jump right back in. Take it slow. Open the lines of communication again through the way they communicate, through the way that they treat you. If you're noticing a difference, give it time. If they haven't changed, believe me, usually within 10 to 15 days, you'll see the old person very clearly. If you see that nothing has changed, you need to cut them off immediately, as quickly as possible. And you might want to bury it all for good. Might just be in your best interest. Okay? Now, for those of you who have done wrong and you miss your person and you want them back, the most important thing for you is to show that you're changed. You need to show them that you have changed. So if you had a drinking problem, a smoking problem, you need to cut it out. If you had a problem with keeping a job, then maybe you need to show them, I'm employed now, gainfully employed now. I can hold a job. I'm doing this. There needs to be some track work of, this is what I'm doing differently. All right. Especially if you've hurt this person more than once. Okay. They're going to need some real convincing. And the most important thing is not to let your ego get in the way. A lot of times a person will do another person wrong, and their ego will keep them from being humble enough to admit that they were wrong and to take the proper action necessary to fix things and make things right with the person that they know they love. Don't let your ego get the best of you. All right? So, whatever the problem was, whether you cheated, okay, are you doing something to address your problem with fidelity? Maybe you need to be in a Bible class or something somewhere. Are you talking to the pastor? Are you talking to a life coach? Oh, I mean, at the very least, you need to be watching some optimal expression, some YouTube videos or something to help you get your mind right. All right? You got to be able to show them something different. All right? Now, beyond that, I have another criteria that's very important, and it's called the triple A's, the AAA: acknowledgement, accountability, and apology. These are three things that you need to do if you want your person back. Now, I'm flipping the page back for a minute. If you were the person who was done wrong and your boo is coming back for another chance, if they are not acknowledging the problem or acknowledging that they were wrong, if they are not taking accountability for their part and what went wrong, and if they are not giving an apology, do not take that person back. Because a person who is truly changed has enough self awareness to be able to look at a situation and say, damn, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I took my person for granted. I didn't treat them right. And when you miss a person so much that it reminds you how much you love them, you won't let your ego get in the way. And you'll be able to be uh, accountable, to acknowledge and give an apology. These are things that are very necessary, okay? The three A's. Remember that. Beyond that, if you are the person who did wrong, I know it can hurt when you're on the outside looking in, when you feel like you're locked out in the cold, and all you want is another chance. The truth of the matter is, we all mess up sometimes. Sometimes you're the bad guy, but you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror first and admit it. If you can't admit that you did something wrong that drove your partner away, you don't deserve that person. You don't deserve another chance. But for those of you who are ready to take accountability for what you've done, and you know deep down in your heart, if you had another chance, you would be different. Sometimes you just need to take a leap of faith and reach out. And if they give you another chance, make the most of it and show them that you are different. Okay? And if they don't give you a chance, then you'll have to accept it. You'll have to accept that you messed up and there's no return. And those are hard truths to deal with. However, at least it frees you, it keeps you from limbo. Because the worst thing that can happen is looking back on this months or years later, wondering, would we have worked out or could we have had another chance if only I had enough courage to try? If only I had the courage to reach out and ask for another shot. At least you can walk away knowing that you tried. And if you are different, then take the lessons from this relationship into the next one and treat your next person better. I hope this message resonated with you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you all here next time for Optimal Expression. Peace and love.